Denver Broncos just embarrassed the hell out of them boys. 30-16, and that's not even indicative of how the game was because Denver was up 30-0 at one point in this football game. It wasn't a game. So, I mean, should Cowboys Nation be worried about them boys? Or was that just a one-off game?
Again, it's a little tale of both because we know that Denver has a good defense, okay? Even if they've, been scraping up some wins against these type of teams, they have a secondary out there. They have some sort of pass rush that can get after you. And when you talk about, the Cowboys coming in, and we've seen this in the NFL, when teams come in and they expect a W, you're at home, you don't think things are going to happen, and then you immediately get humbled. It's an any type of Sunday type of occurrence. And, we also saw this a little bit with the Cowboys. Now, the team is not exactly the same. But when it was, I want to say Dak and Zeke's rookie year, I think you know what I'm talking about. The Cowboys were like 13-3, 14-2.
Yeah,
everyone was feeling great.
13-3.
Right. Everyone was feeling great. They were making the run, and I want to say they get bounced out in the wild card of the divisional. I think with that year, after, the Cowboys kind of searching for, I guess, their identity again, after the Romo days, bringing in Dak, bringing in Zeke, it was a little bit of a transition there. But understanding now, and so let's take it back a little bit. In that transition that they had, I guess you could kind of give them the excuse that, they're fresh into the system. But now, this is another year with Mike McCarthy, which I don't think was a good hire for head coach. But this is another year with Dak. This is another year with Zeke. This is another year with an amazing wide receiver core. And especially starting out the way that they did and playing sustainably, yeah, the expectations are going to be high because we've seen the Cowboys come out 3-0, 4-0, and then they followed, 5-6 or 6-8, whatever the case may be. This is a different Cowboys team. But again, when you walk in, assuming that you have a W, which is kind of what it felt like here for the Cowboys, you're going to get beat, and you have to realize that when you play against a defense of that caliber, it doesn't matter if you think you are that much better than that team. You have to go out and play. So we'll see how the Cowboys are going to do over the course of the season with having these expectations because, we'll see in the power rankings and overall as the seeding plays out, they're going to be a great team. But what can they do in the postseason with Mike McCarthy? I got to look at the coach again. Who is Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, I think there'll be a couple of more games like this for the Dallas Cowboys because I really feel like this is a product of them having such high expectations that they're not used to. It's kind of similar to how you look at the Cleveland Browns. Normally they're playing the underdog role. And they're like, yeah, we're going to come and shock the world, catch everybody by storm. Now you're expected to be that team. And I think the expectations have really gotten to their heads. They're listening to all the media. They're looking at the way they've been performing, where they're sitting in the standings with the number one offense in the NFL, top 3 in scoring. They're really feeling themselves, and this was a reality check. And I think this will happen 1 or 2 more times. But it looks like we got a caller. Caller. Welcome to Petty Sports. What's poppin'? What's your name?
COVID caller.
It's Mike Fry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got the resident Denver Bronco fan in the house. Mike Fry, what's good with you?
Not much, man. Just enjoying the show as always. Just wanted to make my little comments on the whole Denver-Dallas game. Basically, I would say it was more of a blueprint on teams on how they can attack Dallas for real. Because if you don't let Dallas jump into a lead, because they got a small defense, right? They fast, but they got small defense. So if you're able to start smacking them in the mouth and bully them early, where their defense, you start leaning, putting the big boys on them, and start, pounding the ball, it kind of exposed that. The fact is that because they so used to their defense for Dallas, so used to playing with a lead and being able to tee off and use and go upfield and try to and playing from with a lead. But when you start smacking them in the mouth early and start controlling that clock and start controlling the line of scrimmage, I think it exposed Dallas quite a bit. And so I think to me is more of a blueprint on how you can beat the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think it was a blueprint. I think it was Dallas was not ready for all the hype. They've really been smelling their own flowers because everyone's been giving it up to them. Hell, I gave them the nod in my power rankings the last time. I had them at the top, and I was not the only person that put them there. I think they really just kind of got beside themselves before they came out in that game because Denver is not that good. And I don't think there's many teams in the league that's going to be able to do that to them.
And that's the key. But the only problem is not too many teams that has the type of, offensive line and run game and defensive line to be able to do that throughout their schedule. So they're going to be fine. But once they get into the playoffs, that's when stuff slows down. And there's some teams out there that has that type of physicality that can be able to get them more on the trailing end and not playing with the lead all the time. And so once you start allowing them to be able to have to react, more so than just play fast, and now you got to start filling gaps, filling holes. Now those fast linebackers, which is small, you can start being able to really lean on them more. And though Denver is not a good team, but one thing they do well, it kind of reminds me of the Cleveland Browns team. A team that's physical, that can run the ball, and that can play that time of a possession game with Dallas. I think them the ones that can cause Dallas the most problems.
But Dallas has been in some of those games already this season. Like the season opener against the Bucs was a tight game. That was a 2-point ball game against what we thought at the moment was the best D in football, because the last time we had seen them was with them destroying the Kansas City Chiefs. They held off in that game. They only lost by 2 points. They held off against the Chargers, who I don't think anyone would argue to say that is a better football team than the Denver Broncos. They also had another tight game against New England. I mean, we've seen them.
Yeah, remember now in New England, yes, because the other teams are more passing teams, so they like to throw the ball around the yard. Even Tampa Bay, they turned more into a Tom Brady passing the ball type team, but they weren't committed to the run as much. If you notice how many rush yards they had with Tampa Bay in that game, and even so a lot of those teams, like now I say with a New England type team, they just had to expose. And then also one last thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go. But
hold up, but since we got you with us, we can't let you make us skip the Kobe break. You're gonna have to take this jump shot with us, pimp.
Kobe break, brother.
It's 8:24. We ain't gonna lose it. Count me down one time, Adam.
3, 2, 1.
Kobe.
R.I.P. to the Mamba.
I can't see you, but I'm gonna assume you took that jump shot too, Mike.
Now, Mike, great call, man. Great call and great comments. And I really agree with what you're saying here, because we've seen teams before be so good, have that offense that jumps out, but also at the end of the day, let's take the Ravens, for example. I think I can hear myself in the background on your end, Mike. But, take the Ravens, for example. People always said they play great with a lead. When they're playing with a lead, you can't beat them, kind of like the Bucs in the NBA. But who are they when they have to come from behind? That's when I agree in the playoffs, you really figure out what your coaching is, what your true chemistry, how does this team perform under pressure. But let's also, not try to have some smoke and mirrors here. Dallas has played from behind for years now. Dak Prescott has had empty stats for years now. They've had empty points for a while. So when you saw this kind of loss against the Broncos, and then you see them trying to come back into the game, but you knew it was never going to happen because it was already so out of reach. So yes, it is another new stage for Dallas, but I don't think we can sit up here and really hold that standard to them, if you know what I'm saying.